Are you a trophy or achievement hunter who's been thinking about diving in
Huh? Get it?
to Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, but you don't know if maybe it'd be too hard or time consuming to get all the trophies or achievements? Well, hopefully this video will help you make that decision. This game is actually one of the easier games of the series to platinum. Gaiden probably is a little easier than this one, definitely less time consuming, but there is no trophy for getting 100% completion, which usually holds up most people from getting the trophies in the old Yakuza games, so there's no need to learn the Japanese minigames like Koi Koi or Mahong. Even the previous main title of the series, Yakuza Like a Dragon, had a pretty difficult final dungeon for you to beat the true Millennium Tower, and there's really nothing like that here. The closest thing is you have to beat the final sectors of the 2 dungeons in the game, but you can easily overlevel those and blow through those with ease. Now, I do want to mention that the Master Vacation DLC, the one that includes the post-game Big Swell Dungeon and New Game Plus, is not needed for the Platinum Trophy. I've seen some people mistakenly say that this DLC is needed for the Platinum, but it is not. You can definitely get the Platinum without that DLC. However, the DLC will make grinding out what will probably be your last trophy a lot easier. So what will probably be your last trophy for the Platinum? The one called Legendary Dragon, which is for getting Kasuga, the main character, to level 70. You will probably beat the game at probably around the level 45 to 50-ish, so which means you will probably have to grind roughly about 20 levels to get to level 70. Without the DLC for the post-game dungeon, you're going to have to grind it out in the other dungeons in the game. Sadly, the XP required to level up increases quite a lot from at around level 60 or so, so you're probably going to be grinding out this one for a little bit. You can also buy level boosters with some of the minigame currencies. You play the minigames and you get special currencies for those minigames, like the bicycle delivery one, Crazy Deliveries I think it's called, and you can spend that minigame currency to buy level boosters, but really it'd just be more time efficient to probably just grind out the levels in the dungeons instead of grinding the points for the minigames. But if you're absolutely sick of grinding the dungeons, that would be one way to help break up the monotony of it all. As for the other trophies, they're all really pretty straightforward. Thankfully, there are no trophies that are missable, not technically, because anything you might not have gotten before beating the game, you can actually do in what's called Premium Adventure Mode, which is kind of like a free roam mode that you can play after you beat the game. Some people mistakenly said this is needed for the DLC. Again, you do not need the DLC to play Premium Adventure. You will just not have access to the dungeon that you can play in that mode. Getting all of Kasuga's personality stats to max can be a little bit of a pain, but really, you should be getting it probably just barely by the time you're wrapping up everything else. If not, then look at the challenges and see if there are maybe some easy ones that you can do to top off the personality traits that you still need to max. In my opinion, the biggest time sink when it comes to the minigames will be Dondoko Island. Dondoko Island's like their take on Animal Crossing a little bit, and you have to pretty much fully complete it by becoming a 5-star resort in order to get all the trophies for it. And then even when you do become a 5-star resort, you probably will still need another trophy for it, which is getting 100 guests to come out to your Dondoko Island. But thankfully, you should probably be pretty close to the 100 guest mark by the time you are finishing up all the other Dondoko Island trophies. One little word of advice though, if you do have the New Game Plus DLC and you are planning on playing New Game Plus, then you should definitely either fully complete Dondoko Island on your first playthrough before going into New Game Plus, or wait to tackle it in New Game Plus. That is because, sadly, Dondoko Island pretty much fully resets whenever you go there in New Game Plus. You do still have the things you made, and you do still have your Dondoko bucks, which is the money you can spend on that island, and you still have any guests that you invited on the guest list, but pretty much everything else resets. Are you finding this video helpful so far? If so, then I'd always appreciate a like and subscribe. So again, a quick little recap. Technically, no missable trophies. The DLC is not needed for the Platinum. No difficulty related trophies outside of beating the final sectors to the dungeons. And then again, no 100% completion trophy, which makes this Platinum a lot easier than most of the past Yakuza games. Now I will give my quick little mini review of the Platinum and the game itself. I'll give the Platinum difficulty a rating of 2 out of 10. Nothing really all that hard, just going to be a little time consuming. Platinum enjoyment, I'll give it a 9 out of 10. I personally found this game really fun, and most of the side stuff that you have to do is fun as well. No super hard difficulty trophies, no million collectibles to find. Overall, an enjoyable experience, even if grinding the level 70 is a bit of a pain. Now, as for the game rating itself, I'd probably give the game about an 8 out of 10. Like I said, fun game. They definitely improved the turn-based combat from the previous game, Yakuza Like a Dragon, by adding in little stuff like being able to move around in a small circle, so you can set up stuff like back attacks and chain combos more easily. Sadly though, I do have to take off 2 points for the story. While not a terrible story by any means, it just feels pretty lacking, especially when compared to some of the other stories in the series like Yakuza 0, of course. Overall, when considering the game rating and the platinum rating, I'd give it about an 8 out of 10. If you enjoyed Yakuza Like a Dragon, then you will probably enjoy this one as well. If you've never played a Yakuza or Like a Dragon game before, but you do enjoy other turn-based RPGs, then you will probably like this. Even if you won't be familiar with the characters, I still think there is plenty of enjoyment to be had for any newcomers. You just won't fully understand just how epic Kiryu truly is.
知ってるんなら報告はいらねえだろ
Now, as a little bonus section, let's talk about getting 100% completion. If you do happen to buy the Master Vacation Pack DLC, or maybe you got the deluxe edition of the game, you will be able to obtain 9 more trophies. These trophies all revolve around New Game Plus and the post-game dungeon, which is called the Big Swell. Now, I personally recommend doing the Big Swell dungeon before diving into New Game Plus. The Big Swell dungeon can only be accessed in the post-game premium adventure mode, and it will help make your life easier for New Game Plus anyways, so might as well take advantage of it. Thankfully, the enemies in the Big Swell dungeon give out a good amount of XP, so the boss fights usually give you about 2 million XP. I definitely recommend grinding to at least level 75 and then playing through New Game Plus on Legend difficulty. If at any point Legend difficulty gets a little too tough for you or maybe a little too annoying, you can always bump it down in the game's difficulty settings. You can bump it down at any time outside of battle, of course. But I recommend playing through as much of New Game Plus on Legend as possible. That way it helps reduce the grind needed to take out the final boss on Legend difficulty. I would say make sure you're around level 90 or so for the final boss so you can beat the game on Legend difficulty. At the time of me publishing this video, the difficulty trophies for New Game Plus do not stack. So make sure you save right before fighting the final boss so you don't have to play the game again a third time through. Thankfully, there was a save spot literally right before the final boss battle. So just save there, beat the boss on Legend, then load that save and beat the boss again on hard difficulty to get both of the difficulty related trophies quickly. How time consuming is it to get the 100%, you might ask? Well, for me personally, it took me 167 hours according to my save file. A few of those hours might have been leaving the game running for a bit, I will admit, and you also must know that I take video games slowly. I like to fully enjoy video games, listen to all the dialogue, watch all the cutscenes, and just explore areas and just take my time with it. If I had to guess, I'd say expect to put in about 140 hours or so to get that 100%, unless you just completely speed through the game. And that's pretty much all there is to getting the Platinum and 100% trophies to Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. I hope this video was helpful in deciding whether or not you would like to tackle this game. If you do, good luck on getting your shiny new Platinum. Thanks for watching.